Hello there guys, team selector time and preview once again for the game against Sheffield United tomorrow night at Bramall Lane in the Premier League. The football is never ending at the moment. You sort of have to catch your breath and it's very hard to take in performances and results. Like beating Spurs for me is our biggest win of the season on Thursday night, but you barely have any time to sort of take it in and enjoy it. It's like one day and then we're back into it with Sheffield United. That's the intense nature of the current Premier League season. And I think tomorrow night's game, I really hope that Chelsea, that galvanising effect, hopefully of a big win on Thursday, really pushes us through some of those maybe sort of fatigue at the moment. Tuchel is going to have to rotate his team, I think, for this game. There are some players like Callum Hudson-Odoi, as I'll get into, who've played a lot of football under Tuchel in sort of a week's time. So I think there's going to need to be some rotation, but we really hope the confidence from that win and the win against Burnley 2 really puts us in a good position to go to Bramall Lane and get a big win, because 3 wins in a row in the Premier League, given the nature of form of many teams in the Premier League this season, you're going to shoot up the table. So hopefully Chelsea are ready for a big performance tomorrow night once again at Bramall Lane. But before we get into any of that, I want to ask you guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also hit the like button if you're enjoying the content, because it helps out the channel as well. So team news, Tuchel did not do a press conference. I think, the short time between games is sort of a formal press conference he didn't have the time to do. I think what we can assume, the one player to definitely be out of this game, and we don't really know the extent of his injury yet, is Thiago Silva. We may have to wait before or after that game to understand how long he's going to be out for. We hope at least maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but even Tuchel, I think, was suggesting it may be more than that, given the nature of the injury. Really horrible, and at a really bad time of the season, because Thiago's been exceptional for Chelsea this year, and it's tough to lose a player, especially as Chelsea, you feel like, are going upwards in momentum. You want a player like Thiago Silva, but then it's really incumbent on those players who do replace him, like Andreas Christensen. This is their time to step up, man. Like, especially Christensen, if he gets a chance, this is your moment, mate. You've really got to take it in terms of being an outcast. One of those players that I felt didn't really have a future at Chelsea. Can he impress and really take his opportunity, at least whilst Thiago Silva is on the sidelines? But let's take a look at Sheffield United, who are trying the great escape. I mean, I think a lot of us, at least at Christmas, felt dead and buried. They're not getting out of this situation. And I think the likelihood is they probably still will go down based on the terrible start to the season, historically bad start to the season. But I think in some ways they've been unlucky, maybe with injuries to key players. I think losing Dean Henderson has been a massive loss for them this season. Their goalkeeper last year, of course, going back to Man United. I wonder how Henderson feels, because he's barely playing any football for Man United at the moment. He's second choice. I don't think Aaron Ramsdale's a terrible keeper, and saying that, he's probably going to have a worldy night tomorrow against Chelsea and keep us out. But I think that sort of that stability and assurance that Henderson gives you, I think technically the height there, the presence that Sheffield United need. And I also think this season it's just been a case of percentages. I think that Sheffield United are a team that are a lot more reactive, a lot more defensive and set, and maybe those percentages of goals that were going in last year, maybe unexpectedly, and you look at maybe XG last season in terms of it being quite low, they're not exceeding it this year, and those percentages are sort of not playing in their favour this year, and they're losing a lot of games very narrowly, but they have improved recently. They've won 2 of their last 5, went away to Man United and won very impressively. I'm a big fan of Chris Wilder, not only in the way he speaks about the game, but just what he's been able to do with Sheffield United. And I think maybe this year is a telling sign of how good last year was. He's up for Manager of the Year in the Premier League, and I actually think he probably should have got it, given how Sheffield United really overachieved in the Premier League. And Ethan Ampadu too, of course, can't play in this game, has been impressing for them in that back 3 position. The future of Ethan Ampadu is now intriguing to me. It always has been with Chelsea. Does he have a future with Chelsea? Will he return and make it in the first team? If we're playing a back 3 system, sort of those concerns about his height and physicality may dissipate a bit, and maybe he could have that impact for Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel. We'll have to wait and see, but of course he can't play in this game. Has been really good recently, which is great to see for him on loan, especially last season when he really struggled at RB Leipzig to get minutes. I think he's got more this season for United, which is great for him. And I've got to speak about our top goal scorer, David McGoldrick, who loves scoring against Chelsea. He scored 2 against us last season in that terrible 3-0 defeat at Bramall Lane, and he scored against us the opening goal in November when we beat them. There's no surprise to me if McGoldrick pops up with a goal and scores the first goal against Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea, because he loves scoring against Chelsea. For some reason, when the blue turns up, he just decides to turn into prime sort of Ronaldo or prime Diego Costa for some reason. So McGoldrick is a player we have to watch out for, sort of those low crosses into the box. He's a real poacher in the box for Sheffield United, so that's one player Chelsea have to look out for. And we fully expect them, of course, to stick to their 3-5-2 formation. And seeing how Chelsea tactically will line up in our positioning with Thomas Tuchel. Will we change anything radically? Will we stick with the 3-4-2-1, which at times has looked like a 3-5-2, to be honest, with Mason Mount and sort of 2 forwards ahead of him? We'll have to wait and see. So let's get into my predicted lineup for Chelsea, and I'm going to give you 2 predicted lineups today in terms of what I think he could go for. One of those is more heavily rotated, whilst one of those is maybe a little bit more similar to the team we saw against Spurs. The first one here is a lot similar to the team that started against Spurs. So as you can see here, both formations are going to be the 3-4-2-1. I can't see Tuchel changing that, given how well it's gone so far, and especially against the type of team, once again, Sheffield United are a low block team. They're going to try and be reactive, going to try and hit us on the counter. I think he'll go with this formation once again to give us that solidity in the middle of the park and passing options. I think the back three in both of my lineups are Dave, Christensen and Rudiger. I just think the fact that Christensen did come in the other day, we're not quite sure about Kurt Zouma's fitness because he did miss the Spurs game. So I'm going to go Christensen in the middle of a back three here with Rudiger and Dave. I don't think that's going to change. Georgie Cover still in that double six. They've performed so well under Thomas Tuchel. Reece James staying at right wing back. Marcus Alonso staying at left wing back. Christian Pulisic and Mason Mount, the two behind Tammy Abraham. Now, Christian Pulisic has come off the bench a few times for Thomas Tuchel, especially in a system where it looks more like a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-2-1. But actually, Mount ends up being sort of that number 10 with 2 forwards in front of him. And I always say this about Pulisic, he's got an eye for a goal. He seems to know where to be in the box, so he should be finishing chances. He nearly scored against Burnley a couple of times. So I think in this game, once again, if he does start, he needs to be taking his opportunities, because I think it's going to be reliant on that interchangeability of movement, that fast movement within a front three. But Tammy Abraham did score against Sheffield United earlier in the season in the box poacher, and I think a lot of crosses going into the box. So I think Tammy maybe could deserve a start here. And then I go to my second lineup here. Once again, we're going for the same sort of back four in Mendy, Dave, Christensen and Rudiger. I don't think that's going to change. Kante, though, coming in for Mateo Kovacic. N'Golo Kante looked a little bit sluggish to me off the bench, and I just think it's a case of match fitness. The last time I think he played was against Man City, the first game of 2021. What was that, January the 3rd or something? So it's been a long time for him to get back up to fitness and back in the first team, and now it's a new system as well, a new manager. Hopefully he'll reintegrate pretty quickly. I think if he doesn't start this game, I think he'll be certain to start the game against Barnsley in the FA Cup, just to get him back up to speed again. And we know how highly Thomas Tuchel rates him. It's just about finding the best place to put him in, because I think, as we see with Tuchel, I think the way he's going to line up this team, very incumbent on the opposition. If we play a higher pressing team, I think a team that's going to look to press, say someone like Jorginho, I think Kante will come in for that game. But does he come in for a game where I expect Chelsea once again to have a lot of the ball? And we've seen how well Jorginho and Kovacic have worked together under Tuchel so far. And as you can see, Callum Hudson-Odoi at right wing back here. I think it is unlikely Callum starts this game because he's played so much football recently under Thomas Tuchel. He started all of the games so far. He's played a majority of them. He's so explosive in the final third. And I just wonder, fatigue-wise, whether Tuchel will look to take him out because of the lack of time between games here. And I think Reece may play in this position. But in this second lineup, as you can see, Callum Hudson-Odoi right wing back. Hakim Ziyech, who didn't play against Burnley, was out of the squad, but was on the bench against Spurs, but didn't come on. Will he find his way back into this team? Because earlier in the season under Lampard, he seemed like a key player for us creatively. But in this new formation and lineup under Thomas Tuchel, what he wants from his attackers, will Ziyech fit in? We'll have to wait and see. Mason Mount too. I also put Ben Chilwell back in the team. Marcus Alonso, I think, may just start this game once again, just in the basis that he hasn't played a lot of football this season, so he may be a little bit more fresh. But it's on Ben Chilwell to get back into this team. And as you can see, the front three, as I already said, Ziyech, Mount and Timo Werner. Maybe Timo can finally get his first goal in a while in the Premier League against Sheffield United tomorrow night. But that is my lineup. Let me know yours in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter at SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.